Hello, I'm Catherine Maguire. Welcome to the Soul Alchemist Podcast. If you are on a journey of alchemizing your inner lead so you can connect to your inner gold, you are in the right place. Every week, I offer wisdom, inspiration, and practical tools to help you remember the very essence of who you truly are and be your gorgeous, unique, magical, authentic self in the world. So thank you for coming along. Thank you for hanging out with me today. It's really gorgeous to have you here. This past weekend, I had my lovely friend Joanna staying with me and her husband. And Joanna and I have been friends for over 20 years. We met when we were doing our shamanic training together all those years ago. And we have been through a lot. She supported me through my separation and divorce from my first husband, and I married her and her husband. I married her daughter. We've been through illness. We've been through injury. We've been through our relationship kind of having to dissolve and come back together again in a whole new way to change the dynamic as we grew. So we've really been through it all. And it was really lovely this weekend just to sit and hang out and be with each other and reflect on the relationship, as well as just, hanging out and having a nice time. But it made me really think about the 4 relationship stages. And I thought I would share that with you today because it's something when I share with my clients, they go, oh my goodness, how did I not know this before? Why did no one tell me this before? This makes everything so much easier now that I understand. So that's what I want to share with you today, because the 4 relationship stages, when you understand the map, it really does. It just makes you see life and relationships in a whole new way. And instead of kind of trying to find your way through a relationship, it just makes you feel really empowered because you can go, okay, I understand where I am and I understand what I need to do next, rather than feel that relationship is happening to you. You're really a co-creative force in the process. And when I talk about relationship, I'm talking about all relationships. I'm talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships with a friend. You're in relationship to your job. You're in relationship with your colleagues or your boss. You're in relationship to a place. Like I've gone through this journey, the 4 stages of this journey here in the past 10 years with my life in Italy and with Ireland before I left. You're in relationship with your creativity, with your projects. If you're, a business owner or an entrepreneur, you're in relationship with your business. You're in relationship with everything, really. And most importantly, you're in relationship with yourself. And I think was it Ram Dass that said, if you want to be enlightened, get in a relationship? Because a relationship is personal development bootcamp. It brings up all your stuff. And that's the whole process of it. It's a container for growth. And if we can look at relationships as containers for growth and transformation, a relationship is actually an alchemical container. It will change your life because you will see yourself and the world differently. Okay, so let's walk through the landscape of relationship today. Let's look at those 4 relationship stages. And I'll be really interested. Let me know where you are, or do you notice where you are in different relationships? I promise you this will change your whole perception of how you are, how you do relationships, and it'll make you feel much more empowered by the end today. So let's begin. Stage 1, the one we all love, the one we all are kind of seduced into relationship for, the honeymoon period. We all know this one. The honeymoon period is where it's all new and shiny and gorgeous. There's a glow. It's all amazing. Whoever the other is, the job, the person, the creative project, the country, whatever it is, can do no wrong. We give them godlike, goddess-like status. There's just this beautiful, flawless, magical glow, and we love it. And it makes us glow. It makes us glow. And it's a beautiful beautiful phase. It's, you feel expansive, you feel light, you can't wait to get up in the morning. Everything's exciting, everything's new. This is it. This is the fresh start. It's going to be different this time. All those things. That's the honeymoon. And it can kind of go a couple of ways. Sometimes, if you've been around the block a few times, you can be a bit cynical about honeymoon. You're like, oh, yeah, it will be for now, but then the sheen will wear off. Enjoy honeymoon when you're in it. Enjoy honeymoon when you're in it. Suck the juice from it because it will pass. Sorry. But it's a really important phase because it's part of the reason we do it, to have that lovely joy, expansive, beautiful, glowy energy. So enjoy honeymoon. Really enjoy honeymoon. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful phase. And, I know for myself, because I understand this map, I found myself in a kind of a trap, kind of going, oh, well, I'm in honeymoon. Well, yeah, there's no point kind of really giving myself to it because it's going to end. And I've had to learn to kind of stop doing that and really just enjoy it. Knowing, yes, like everything, everything has a peak and a trough. It will peak and then it will trough, but really make the most of it while I'm in it because it's glorious. Okay, so honeymoon, we all know this place. So as that honeymoon starts to wane, what happens is we move from the other, whatever the other is, the job, the creative project, the person, moving from having that godlike, goddess-like status, they fall to earth. And we realize, whoops, they're human. And that's where we start to get annoyed. That's where somebody's habits, things that maybe you liked, now they're annoying. People start to get under your skin. They start rubbing you up the wrong way. You're kind of showing up for your creative project or your business and you're going, nothing's working. This is annoying. Why, I've lost my whole sense of flow. I've lost my enthusiasm, all those things. And it's where we go and, power struggle is that we start to struggle with the other. And sometimes that struggle can be more of an inner struggle. Sometimes it can be more of a verbal struggle where you're actually fighting. There's a fight with the other. And sometimes it may be a passive aggressive struggle. Okay. But you're still in struggle. There's two entities and they're pushing against each other. All of a sudden, the job's not so interesting. Or all of a sudden, the job's so hard. Or all of a sudden, they're asking you to work extra hours. Or your colleague is really annoying and you wish they'd stop clearing their throat like that. Whatever it is. All right. A struggle starts. It starts to grate on you. Okay. And when we're in power struggle, there's a couple of things going on. There's the fighting, whether that's passive aggressive or it's fighting aggressive, all right, on whatever scale that's in. But there's a lot of energy in power struggle. There's a huge amount of energy in power struggle, and there's a huge amount of drama. If you're in a work situation, this can be like the little gossipy corners where he said, she said, they said, all those things, and you're kind of getting into your little pods, your little groups. In relationship, this is where you're, the drama of, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you did that. And really, when we're in that realm, we're in the realm of projections. We're projecting our stuff onto the other. Okay. So the soul work that needs to be done in the power struggle stage is to take your projections back, take ownership of, take responsibility for your projections and work them through, alchemize them. All right. Because power struggle is that first place where we start to separate, we start to fight for our independence, fight for our own identity. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being independent. There's nothing wrong with being in our, standing in our own stead. But if we're doing it from a place of we've entered this thing, this relationship, gone into dependence because we're dependent on the other, we're depending on the job for our paycheck, we're depending on the job for our sense of self, our status, we're depending on the partner for love. And then we get into power struggle and we want to go independent, we want to separate. We're doing it from a place of projection. We're not doing it from our authentic self. All right. So power struggle will bring up all your projections. And this is where you have to roll up your sleeves and get on with your inner work. All right. So after power struggle, we go into dead zone. We flatline. Why? Because you're tired. I always think of power or dead zone a bit like, if you're watching a wrestling match and somebody taps out, dead zone is where we tap out. We just go, oh, to hell with it. I can't be dealing with it anymore. And so maybe if in a work situation, this is where you just kind of go in, do the minimum, go home. I'll just do what I need to do. And then when I'm out of there, maybe for your creative project, maybe you show up for it, maybe you don't. You kind of maybe if you're, a painter, maybe you kind of come up, slap some paint on the canvas. Oh, that'll just do. All right. But you're not really into it. If, it's a place, maybe you just, it just doesn't juice you anymore. Just doesn't juice you anymore. So we're in the dead zone. The energy is dead. In a couple, it can look like you're living in the same house. You're still a couple, but you're leading separate lives. You're just getting on with your separate lives. You actually haven't had the conversation usually, but usually there's been kind of some complicit agreement that you're not going to be fighting, but you'll just do your own thing, not to annoy each other or to annoy or to kind of limit the amount of interaction you have. So you don't annoy each other, but you'll show us a couple, maybe if you've kids, you'll show up a couple at the birthdays or the social events or whatever it is. But you're basically dead. The energy's dead. It's flat. Okay. And it's an interesting thing because couples can flip flop between dead zone, or people can flip flop between dead zone and power struggle. For some people, power struggle is really traumatic because there's so much energy, there's so much drama, there can be so much fighting, passive or aggressive. Okay. But it's intense. It's really intense. Some people love that energy and will stay there. They will stay, if you look out in your relationships, all your relationships are in power struggle because maybe there's the fighting and then there's the makeup sex. So there's a lot of energy there. Okay. Some people can't deal with power struggle. It's too much. It's too intense. So they hang out in dead zone. Dead zone, at least it's quiet. There's no shouting. There's no struggle. Well, no overt struggle. All right. For some people, dead zone's worse than death. They would rather power struggle with the fighting and the energy than the deadness of dead zone. All right. So have a little think about where in your relationships do you normally hang out or go to after the honeymoon period? Okay. Because there will be a pattern. There will be a pattern, and there will be a pattern with what you do. So dead zone is where all our shadow stuff comes up, the deep, dark, gunky stuff you don't want to look at. There'll be an energy of depression to it because there's no energy. Maybe an energy of hopelessness. There's no way out. Maybe an energy of fear, like it's better to be in this than have to face what's ahead. Better to be in this dead end job than have to look for a new job. I won't get a job at my age with my experience, whatever it is. Maybe better to be in this relationship than have to, get somewhere to live on my own or get a mortgage by myself or whatever it is. So there's a deadness there. It's like a dead end in dead zone. All right. But that can be comfortable for some people and you'll have a pattern. All right. So my pattern is this. Historically, is honeymoon, gorgeous, fabulous, all exciting, to the point of being annoying to the people around me in honeymoon. It's like, this is the most amazing thing ever. This is the best thing ever. And I can honestly tell you, hand on heart, I've, annoyed enough people about that over the years. I remember when I moved to Italy and that I went home after a couple of years and drove my family just completely insane. Italy's the best place ever. And that's it. That's part of it. You can be annoying. So it's part of the process. Then power struggle. I'm actually okay in power struggle, even though I grew up somewhere where I hated shouting. I'm more comfortable in power struggle because my mum has a master's in going dead, just, radio silence. So I will take power struggle over dead zone because that is more traumatizing for me. I hate when there's no engagement. All right. So I will take power struggle over dead zone. And if my relationship, be that romantic with a friend, with a project, whatever it is, goes into dead zone, historically, that's the point where I want to bail. That's where I'm like, oh, the hell, I'll get out of here. But interestingly, if we bail at any point, bail at honeymoon, bail at power struggle, bail in dead zone, we have to go all the way back around to the start when we get into the next relationship and go through each of those stages again. And you'll know this. My husband has a friend, and for years, when he had a girlfriend and they go into power struggle, he'd tap out. It's like, okay, it's off. And then he'd come back around with another girlfriend that looked exactly like the same one before, Same coloring, same personality, same thing. Oh, she's the best. She's the most amazing. This is going to be different this time. And then they get into power struggle and she'll be gone and you go back around again. So if you don't work through the 4 stages, you'll keep getting caught in the same spiral of either honeymoon power struggle, tap out, honeymoon power struggle, dead zone, tap out, and then you'll go all the way back around again. So the 4th stage, and this is the one that really challenges. This is the one that we have to show up as ourselves. And remember, we're in relationship to meet ourselves. Relationship is an alchemical container to meet ourselves and be ourselves truly, wholly, wholeheartedly. So the 4th relationship stage is true partnership. And true partnership is where we join. We join with the job. We join with our romantic partner. We join with the friend. We join with the family member. We join with our creativity. We join with the place we live in. We find the juice. We reach across the divide. So think of true partnership as, there's this divide. You're on 2 sides of a valley. And true partnership is where we reach across and join and find joy in connection again. All right. So my husband, in fairness to him, God bless him, is like the king of joining. If we have a rep, my husband is the one that will come across and touch me and come across and give me a hug or make me a cup of tea or reach out and massage my shoulders. Or if I'm giving him the cold silent treatment because I've gone into dead zone or power struggle, he'll reach across the divide. He is way better than that at me. And I have to be really honest and say he's the reason we're still married. I miss tap out, and he has taught me over the years to join. He's taught me to join. He's taught me to hold stead, stand where I am and feel what I'm feeling in regard to the relationship and join, reach across the divide. And that's true partnership. We're actually reaching across to the other. We're reaching across to ourselves because we want to join with ourselves. And when we can reach across to the other, we're actually reaching across to ourselves and meeting ourselves in a new way. We're not letting the woundings, we're not letting the programming, we're not letting all the cultural kind of stuff that we carry around win. We're reaching across and meeting ourselves again, coming home to ourselves again, finding union again. All right. And we're doing it in an embodied way, in a conscious way, in a very human way. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being right. It's about the desire to meet, and in meeting the other, we meet ourselves. Okay. And this is really, hard, to be honest. True partnership is hard. But what happens when we come back to true partnership? We get another honeymoon. We get another honeymoon again. And what I've found over the years, Vince and I are together 20 years, thereabouts. And what I've found is the more you take this journey and the more you come around to from true partnership to honeymoon, the honeymoon periods get longer. The power struggle and the dead zone periods get shorter. They don't go away. It's a spiral. We're constantly spiraling home to ourselves. We're constantly spiraling back to our authentic selves. So it's not that they go away, but the honeymoon period gets longer and the power struggle and the dead zones get shorter. Then we join and we get another honeymoon period again. And you enjoy it. You enjoy it for what it is. But true partnership is the way through. True partnership is to join. And I know even as I'm saying this, you'll go, well, what if the relationship's over? What if it really is over? Yeah, if it's really, truly over, it's over. Maybe that relationship has run its course. That job has run its course. That creative project has run its course. Absolutely. But you won't know that unless you join with it. And then from that place of joining, see where you are. Because from that place of joining, you're not in your woundings, you're not in your projections, you're not in your shadow. You're in an embodied, conscious place where you can look at it through really adult, mature eyes rather than the eyes of the child, which is what we're doing in power struggle or dead zone. It's all our childhood woundings and stuff playing up. All right. So let's walk back through that again. Honeymoon period. It's all gorgeous. Everything has godlike magical status. All right. power struggle, the human kicks in. We are mortal. This person, this job, this creativity, whatever it is, it's annoying and it's getting under my skin. And we start to project all our stuff out onto the other. Dead zone. We tap out. The energy's flat. Can't be doing with this. And this is often the place where people have affairs because they're looking for that spark again. All right, dead zone. So dead zone, it's flat. This is where we have to look and deal with, do the inner work around our deepest, darkest shadow. If you're depressed, you're in dead zone. All right. And then moving into true partnership where we join with the other, which is we find a way to connect. How can we reach out? How can we connect? How can we find a new way, a new connection and join and come into true partnership? And in that way, we're actually meeting ourselves. And this is really important, not just for ourselves in our own life, but because in the world today, we are in a power struggle loop. Okay, so it's divisiveness, it's the other, it's projection, it's all them and us. All right, we are caught in power struggle. And the mad thing about power struggle is social media algorithms are actually designed to work off power struggle. They're designed to pitch people against each other because there's energy, because it creates momentum, it creates engagement. So social media companies know how intense and volatile and active and forceful power struggle is, and they use it for engagement. All right. And if you're not aware of that, you're unconsciously getting caught in that loop all the time. All right. And then you max out and you say, well, I'm going to go on a digital detox. I can't take anymore. But you've really gone into Z zone. All right. And that's okay. But what you want to be is in true partnership. And if you can come into true partnership with any other person in the world, or with your creative project, or with yourself, most importantly, and amazing things happen. Think of that as, think of true partnership as this beautiful, energetic pebble going into a pond. And that pebble, when it goes into the pond, creates these ripples of true partnership going out into the world. And then imagine someone else listening to this podcast today, one of your other fellow alchemists is reaching for true partnership, and their energetic pebble is going into the pond and creating ripple effects of true partnership. And then another alchemist who's listened to this podcast today is they're reaching for true partnership, and their energetic pebble is going into the pond and creating ripples and waves of true partnership. And imagine if all of us as alchemists reached for true partnership and our energetic pebbles went into the pond and created those ripples and then created those waves. Those energetic ripples, which would then become waves, would change the energy in our world. And I know that might seem idealistic, but this world, this gorgeous, gorgeous world, this beautiful, exquisite earth we live on is 95% energy. There is more space than there is physical matter. And in that space is energy. And if we can reach for true partnership, even though it's hard, even though we might not want to join, even though I might want to be mad with my husband because he's annoyed me, if I can reach towards true partnership and joining, I drop an energetic pebble into the pond of life, and that ripples out into the world. And that is how, on an energetic level, we can change our reality. We can change our life experience, and we can change the life experience for others. So that is my offering to you today. Are you willing to come into true partnership with yourself? It doesn't mean you have to be happy with everything that's going on in life, or it doesn't mean that you have to be happy with everything that's going on in the world. But if we can step into true partnership with ourselves, and then the others, and then our job or our creative projects or whatever it is, we're not coming from a wounded place. We're coming from a mature psyche where we know everything's not perfect and we know there are flaws, but we're willing to reach across and find solutions, find a way through, find ways of meeting and joining and growing. Because remember this, our relationship is healthy, our relationship is successful if everyone is growing including yourself. Okay? Relationships are alchemical containers for growth. And that alchemy is working if you're growing. If you are growing, expanding, coming home to who you truly are, coming home to your authentic self, coming home to the part of you that's beyond the woundings and beyond the stories. And if we can do that for ourselves, we can do that in the world. And that's how we become the leaders of our time, by doing the hard work, the inner work for ourselves. And then we become the role models for others. So that's what I offer you today. An invitation for true partnership. Enjoy the honeymoon when it's there. Navigate by doing the inner work through the power struggle and the dead zone, and know that we can be in the ripple in the pond. Together, my fellow gorgeous, wonderful alchemists, we can be the ripple in the pond that makes a difference in the world. So have a gorgeous, glorious week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like it and share it and let someone else know about it, because it helps that ripple in the pond spread out into the world. And I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the 4 relationship stages? Where are you? Where do you trip yourself up? Where do you get stuck? Or are you leaning towards true partnership and maybe that feels a little scary right now? Let me know. Really let me know. And if you have a question or if you'd something you'd like me to do a podcast on, please do get in touch. Catherine@catherinemaguire.com. I would love to hear from you. Or if you need help navigating these stages, if you need help to do the inner work, get in touch. Catherine@catherinemaguire.com. It is my joy and my passion to help people walk through the alchemical fire so they can come home to who they truly are. So have a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous week. I'm sending so much love from my heart to yours. May it be a magical week. And somebody said to me last week, what is that thing you say at the end? I say slán, which is Irish for goodbye, followed by agus, which is the Irish for and ciao, which is the Italian for, it's the Italian for hello and goodbye. So slán, agus, ciao. Have a gorgeous week. Love you lots. Mwah.